Hey, my viewers. So basically there's this thing going around called the coronavirus, and basically what it does is that it basically quarantines people.
That's not how it works!
Shut up! And to that, I am no exception. So while I'm in quarantine, I've been basically watching a lot of tech videos and tech channels, and one day I come across this video from your average consumer. And it is about the iPad Pro. It's basically saying, yo guys, forget about the PS5. Nobody even cares about the PS5. You know what's really the best console for gaming nowadays? It's the iPad Pro. First, the title and the beginning of the video enraged me. Like, I thought, how could this dude possibly think that the iPad is more important than the PS5 in terms of gaming? But then I thought, what if the iPad Pro will actually replace the PlayStation someday? PlayStation will become an old and outdated piece of tech someday. Kind of like the MP3 player nowadays. So that is why this video is going to be split into two parts. The part where I discuss in which ways the iPad and other mobile devices could never replace the PS5 and other consoles, and the part where I discuss in which ways the iPad and other mobile devices could replace the PS5 and other consoles. So let's get right into the news! Now back in 2018, when Apple released the 2018 iPad Pro, they mentioned in that presentation that it was as powerful as the Xbox One S. But there was a catch, and that catch was that you cannot run games that actually run on the Xbox One S. So games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Far Cry 5, or Gears 5 could not run on the iPad, and for one specific reason only: the OS. Because of its castrated OS, it cannot run games like this, and never will, because if Apple wanted iPad users to launch and play games like these, Apple will have to either replace iPad OS with Mac OS, or a shortened version of Mac OS, or make iPad OS more like Mac OS and Windows. And Apple fully understands that if they were to do so, the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and the MacBook Pro 16-inch would be absolutely useless, and I'm almost certain that they're not willing to lose such a big profit. And even if somehow everyone stopped buying MacBooks, and Apple would finally realize that them making laptops is a very bad idea, and they would sell iPads with macOS, even then the games run really poorly on them, because, come on, it's macOS. Games run trash in macOS. And secondly, because of the bad hardware compared to consoles. Now see, the reason that the iPad is as powerful as the Xbox One S is because the Xbox is packing hardware from 2013. It's packing virtually the same hardware as the Xbox One hardware. So basically, it's 7-year-old hardware that the Xbox One S is packing. As soon as the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X come out, the iPad will have less than a fifth of the power that the PS5 has. That is also why developers are going to release titles that require a much beefier system to run, which makes it even more impossible for the iPad to replace the PS5. And I'm thinking, but Matt, what if Apple develops its own games that are as interesting as the PS and Xbox games? That is also impossible for the iPad to replace the PS5 in that way, because Apple is probably going to be developing Nintendo-style games, not first or third-person shooters. There will always be a demand for these kind of games, and just overall games that are more graphical and like have better graphics than Nintendo style games. And that demand Sony is more than happy to provide. Plus, the iPad Pro costs like way more than any other console, so yeah, there's that. It costs also much more than Nintendo Switch, and it's probably going to cost much more than the PS5 or Xbox Series X, so yeah. Now, one way that the iPad Pro has a very big chance of replacing the PS5 is in cloud gaming technology. Now, for those of you who don't know what cloud gaming technology is, cloud gaming allows you to play the latest titles without actually having the required hardware for these titles. So basically, what that means is that you can play the latest titles from your phone or iPad. And how it works is that there's a console somewhere in, like, I don't know, Thailand or something, and you are controlling it through the internet while it sends you the visuals through the internet. It's a little bit more complicated than that, and instead of a couple of PS4s, there are giant computer rooms, and on these computers, games are being run that are controlled by other players all over the world, just like you. And many believe that it is the future of gaming. Now, the reason that they believe that is that look at what happened to film and TV shows. Back in the day, if you wanted to watch a film or TV show, you couldn't just watch it on Netflix or on YouTube or, I don't know, Hulu. For whoever watches that, you had to get out of your house, go to a video store, and rent it or buy it. And to watch the DVD, you had to have a thing called a DVD player. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. You don't have to own a DVD player. You don't have to own even like a computer with a DVD player. You don't even have to own a TV. You just have to pay for a subscription, like a Netflix subscription, and you have close to unlimited shows at your disposal. Now, consoles are like DVD players, just for games, and even though you don't have to go out and buy a disc copy of the game, you can just buy a digital version online, but still, it's basically the same. Therefore, it's most probable in the future that people will just buy subscriptions to a service to play games like my Netflix subscriptions nowadays, to watch movies on any device. And consoles will be like DVD players in the future, basically useless. And most probably in the future, iPad Pros would be much more relevant than consoles because people would play games on iPad Pros. Also, if everyone switched from playing on consoles to playing the latest titles on their phones with cloud gaming technology all of a sudden, developers would first of all have the power to make new games more lengthy and more graphically intense because they wouldn't have to keep the hardware limitations of these consoles in mind. And the future games could weigh much more since the computers in these computer rooms have virtually unlimited storage. And game developers would have much more resources to work with because, for example, Sony would have much more money from the monthly subscriptions that people are going to pay. Overall, games would be bigger, better, and more interesting than they are today if we switch to cloud gaming technology. But one thing this allows us to switch to it, and that thing is that today, this technology works like hot garbage, alright? The Google Stadia is one of the first cloud gaming services, and no one is praising Google for making yet another revolution in technology, because now it works very poorly. Games lag, and the controls are very sloppy because of the internet, and it not being fast enough. And I think even with 5G, games would still struggle to reach 60 frames per second. Of course, I'm not saying that 60 frames per second is trash, but yeah, people play games in 120 frames per second nowadays. That 60 frames per second is like the gold standard, and like if games don't reach it, then like it's basically bad. Now, what have we learned from all this information? Well, we learned that the iPad Pro cannot and will not replace the PS5 and other consoles anytime soon. And that stupid-ass YouTubers should stop putting "forget the PS5, we have the iPad Pro" in the title of their videos, because it's annoying me, alright? It is, really. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and smash a like. Smash the like button. I don't know how they say it nowadays, but yeah, if you really enjoyed it, please go ahead and subscribe. You know, I got content coming. Actually, no, I don't have content coming, but you know, if you subscribe, that'll encourage me to like make new content like this. Hopefully, you know, this is enough content. This isn't a vlog, because like where would I be vlogging nowadays? You know, with the whole Corona thing, Corona beer thing. Yeah, that was a trash joke. But yeah, yeah, I guess that's it basically. Yeah, take care, stay safe, wash your hands. Bye.